Hey YouTube, what's going on? Julian McClellan with McClellan's Gun Company, and in today's video we're just going to do a basic tutorial on how to clean your AR-15. So I just have some basic stuff here. I have my handy used up t-shirt for cleaning the excess lubricant and cleaner. I have my cleaner here. My choice is the Hoppe's 9. I have some Q-tips. I have my chamber cleaning brass brush. I have a nylon brush, and to aid me I do have my Cabela's brand 223556 gun cleaning kit on standby just in case I need it for anything else. But for the most part this is all we'll really need for the time being. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the disassembly of the gun. So first, before disassembling any kind of gun, you always want to make sure that you are being safe. And how you can do that is always making sure that the gun is clear. So we're just going to do just that. So as you can see, the bolt is locked and closed, but we need to find out if there's a bullet in there or not. So by doing so, we're going to take our charging handle and we're going to pull back on that, okay? And then you're going to go ahead, you're going to want to look down the barrel to make sure that there's nothing in there. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look. I see nothing. It is empty, no sign of brass in there. So we are clear. The gun was on safe the whole time. Alright. So we're going to go ahead, take that off of safe. Alright. We're going to go ahead and pull that trigger right. And now we can go ahead and we can start the disassembly. So by doing so, we have two pins on the AR-15 that hold the gun together primarily. And you're going to find one of the pins here, right on top of the magazine well. Get you a good picture of that. Alright, and then the other one, they're going to be closer to the stock area. In this case, mine's right here. Yours might be in a different location. You just have to kind of see depending on what kind of AR-15 you have. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to depress these pins. Then they're going to pull out, and that's going to be able to split the gun into two halves. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to punch the back one out first. I am able to do this with my hand. Not all AR-15s allow you to do it with your hand. So I got that pin pulled out just fine, as you can see here. That came out. Alright, so now my AR-15 is going to pivot forwards. Alright. So it's going to work just like that. Keep in mind that I'm still not pointing the gun at me in any kind of form or fashion, okay? So, with that being said, our pin helped us pivot forward. So now, we can go ahead and we can remove our bolt. And the way that's going to come out, you're going to want to go ahead and you're going to want to grab on to your charging handle, kind of pull that to release it, and that's going to slide right out, okay? Just like this did here. So we have our bolt carrier there, and we'll get into detail of what we need to clean in a little bit. So we're going to set that to the side. Our charging handle is going to come right down and out, okay? So how I did that, if you're having trouble getting yours, put it back in there, is you're going to pull that, you want to go push it down a little bit, and then it'll slide right out. Push it down about halfway through and it should come falling right out for you. So we're going to set that next to the bolt carrier. Alright. And that's pretty much the meat and potatoes of what you want to take out of the gun for a basic clean. You can do a more in-depth clean where you take out the hammer and the trigger and stuff like that. We're not really going to get into all of that today. We're just going to do a basic cleaning just to get you to the range tomorrow or whatever have you. So we have everything out on the bolt carrier, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to start disassembling this guy. So we'll be right back. Okay guys, so we got our bolt carrier out. So next up, we need to go ahead and disassemble the bolt carrier. And what that entails of is taking the cam pin out and the pin that's holding the firing pin in. So what you're looking at right now is the cam pin. Okay, that's going to get taken out second, but first we want to take that pin that's holding the firing pin in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove that, and I'm just using one of my handy tools here from the Cabela's kit to aid me, and we're going to just go ahead and slide that out like so. Now what that does, that pin was holding in your firing pin. Okay, so now the firing pin comes right out, and as you can see, it's quite dirty. And we're going to go ahead and set that to the side for right now. Now we're going to work on that cam pin. Okay, so now since both of those pins are out, that cam pin should rotate, and it does. Okay, so originally it was in there like this, you can see that, and we rotated it this way to more of the rectangular shape. And I'm going to use my tool again to aid me in getting that out. And that falls right out. And now the bolt face can come right out. Alright, so now we can go ahead and take the extractor and take that off of the bolt face itself. And again, we have one more pin. It's going to be a real small pin, guys, so be careful. You don't want to lose this. If you lose, it's going to be a pain in the neck. Excuse me. So I'm just going to go ahead and push that out. Bear with my hands here. I know I'm kind of covering up everything. Alright, so that popped right out. There it is. And now, I got another one. Excuse me. Now we can, excuse me, sorry guys. And so now we have our extractor out, and we can go ahead and we can get in the crevices. If my camera, there it is. Now we can get in the crevices of the bolt face itself. We got these O-rings back here. So we'll set that to the side. Then we got our gas key and all that good stuff. Everything on here is going to want to get cleaned. And that's what we're going to do now. So we'll just set all this to the side. Going to get our trusty shirt out here. Kind of should have had that out in the first place. Alright. Gonna get our cleaner over here. And I'm just gonna kind of spread this out so I can get my stuff on here. Everything shows up better. I'm going to take my nylon brush here, and we're going to go to town on all these little parts and the big old bolt carrier. So we're going to start off with the bolt carrier first. Just lube up your brush with whatever cleaner you have and just start scrubbing. I'm just taking the small part of my nylon brush here so I can get on the inside of the bolt carrier. Alright, so we scrubbed that pretty good. Now we're going to go ahead and just wipe this down. We got all kinds of dirt coming off of that there. But it's looking better already, guys. Looking better already. So, next I'm just going to go ahead and take a cotton swab and we're going to get where our fingers couldn't get. So where I'm getting in particular is where the cam pin sits, excuse me. And then I'm just going ahead and getting all the excess lube out of where the fire pin is housed. And she's pretty clean, guys. So that's looking pretty nice. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and set that to the side. Now we're going to go ahead and clean the bolt face. Now you do have 2 rings here. You want to be sure that you don't lose those, or if they do come off, just keep an eye on them so you can put that back on. That will cause malfunctions if you lose one. Hopefully not 2, because then I wouldn't even recommend shooting at that point. But so we're just gonna go ahead and clean this one up. Alright, so we got that cleaned up real nicely. We're going to set that to the side. And then we're going to just kind of move over to our pins. The smaller things, obviously. It's just so nice to clean your guns and just look at them, they're all nice and clean. It's a very rewarding feeling. Alright guys, so the firing pin is pretty clean. So that's a lot cleaner compared to what it was. So my hands keep getting it even more dirty because it's so clean, but yeah, that's pretty good for right now. So we're going to set the firing pin to the side. Alright guys, so now we're going to go ahead and clean the ejector. And be careful when cleaning this because it does have a little O-ring on the end here. So let's try and get that focused in for you guys. Yeah, so if you can see that little ring right there, just want to be careful not to lose that or pop it off really. So just be gentle. Alright, so we got that cleaned. Alright, and we're just going to go ahead and set that with the rest. Move to these little cam pins. Get that nice and dried off. Looks good. Alright, lastly guys, we have our charging handle here, and that needs to get cleaned off as well. So we're going to go ahead, take our brush and start cleaning. Alright, so we got that cleaned off guys. Now we can go ahead and start the reassembly of the bolt carrier. Alright, so we have all our pieces here. We actually have to start with the bolt face. And the ejector. And we're just going to take that little pin that we moved out and put back in. Mine's just taking some force. So what we're going to do is use this punch to aid me in that process, and it went in just fine. Now we got that in there. Now we can go ahead and insert the bolt face into the bolt carrier. And then what I'm doing now is I'm matching up the hole. I guess I'll take this out. So I'm matching up the hole on the bolt face here because our cam pin's going to have to go through that. So we're going to insert that there, and then right where the cam pin goes, you want to line up those holes. And then the hole in your cam pin is going to want to be facing this way, going outward. So you're going to have to insert it and then twist it to go outward. And you should have something that looks like this. Alright. And then we're going to go ahead, insert our firing pin. Like so. That's going to hold the cam pin in place. And then we have the little bobby looking pin that we are going to insert back on the side to hold the firing pin in place. Alright. And then just to be sure, you always want to make sure everything's working properly. You should not be able to rotate the cam pin after everything's put back together. If it's rotating, something is not right. You missed a step. So everything's functioning as it should. Fire pin's in there snug. So we're going to set that to the side once more. Now we can move on to cleaning the upper and the lower of the AR15 itself. Alright, so let's get this thing broken into two halves. So we've already have the bottom pin taken out from the first step. We're going to go ahead and remove the front pin that allowed us to pivot. Just doing this off camera. So now we have both pins popped out, and now we have the lower by itself. Alright. And I want to go ahead and clean the upper first. So we're going to do the upper first. So once again guys, I do have this 223-556 chamber brush here that we're going to use to clean the chamber. We're going to dip that. And then we're just going to go ahead and we are going to insert this down in the chamber. So let me try to get some more sufficient light. I'll be right back so you guys can clearly see what I'm doing here. Alright guys, so I got everything set up to give you the best angle I could. But what we have here is we have my chamber brush here to clean the chamber on the AR15. And we're just going to go ahead and insert, and we're going to twist. So you're going to want to twist the opposite of what would unlock the tool from, you know, like holding itself together. So For me, it's going to be counterclockwise. And I did dip this in my cleaner already, so we're just getting in there, cleaning that chamber out. Alright, and I'm actually getting some pretty good gunk out. Alright, so that's good enough. I'll go ahead and set that down. And now, since we've cleaned the chamber, we need to actually clean the barrel as well. So let me get some longer extensions here. I'm going to go ahead and use my flexible cable here and attach it on the end. We're going to dip that in my cleaner. We are then going to go ahead and take my cable and insert through the chamber like so. I got my cable on the other end here, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull that through as if I were doing with a bore snake. And we're just going to go ahead and evenly pull that through. Okay, guys? Now you can't really see what I'm doing here because I'm using up the whole table, but I did just pull that through the barrel. And we're going to do that about 3 times, okay? So again, we're going to insert through the chamber, following the direction of which the bullet goes. Okay. And then I'll even give you a look at what it looks like on my end. Okay. And when you're pulling this through, you want to keep it even. You don't want to go like this or this. Try and keep it as flush as you can while it's coming out the barrel. And just like that, the barrel will be clean. I'm going to give it one more go around, because again, I did use that harsh steel case in this gun. Alright, so we got that through a few times, which is great. So now we're going to go ahead and just scrape along the chamber walls to make sure that that is clean. I'm just going to take my nylon brush to do so. So I'm going to go ahead, set that upper to the side. That's clean. Alright, we're going to go ahead and move to our lower. and I'm gonna just go ahead, clean the magazine well, and just get in here a little bit, clean up the hammer too as well. So hammer's got a good amount of gunk on it, so we'll clean that up and then we can start reassembling the rifle itself. Alright, so we got that brushed out pretty nicely. We're gonna go ahead and start removing all the extra again. Alright, so we got all the extra out. Alright guys, so now we're just gonna go ahead and clean the lower, the outside of it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and apply some cleaner to my t-shirt and go ahead and work it across. Alright, the lower looks really nice and clean. We're going to go ahead and clean the outside of the upper. Again, dipping my shirt in some cleaner here and working that on the outside. Alright, so we got the upper cleaned. Now it's time to do a reassembly of the bolt carrier and attach the lower to the upper. So by doing so, we are going to go ahead and attach where our pinpoints would go. I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to lower my hammer. Careful of your fingers and your trigger while putting this back together. You don't want the hammer to smack your finger, so always be sure to keep your finger off the trigger while doing this part. And we're just going to kind of connect where we disconnected. Push those holes in. Alright, so we got the lower one in. And don't forget, we still have our bolt carrier assembly that we need to put in. Alright, so we're going to get this in place, our charging handle. Alright, we got that in place, and we're going to go ahead and slide the bolt carrier in with it. Sorry about that, guys. So basically I had ran into a little problem here. So as I was trying to remove my bolt, or put my bolt back into place, I was wondering why my charging handle wasn't catching, and trying to look at the camera and do this all in one, it wasn't all the way down at the bottom where the charging handle would slide. I was kind of getting worried for a second. I'm like, why is that not working? But we got it working. So everything's back in place now. That just slides in like so. So let me try and actually give you a better view. I promise I've done this before, but let's see. There we are. Get my hand out the way. Okay, so make sure your charging handle is down all the way enough to where it's in that bottom channel and it'll slide. Mine was kind of hanging down, so it wasn't wanting to move, but I got it down in there now. Insert that. Your charging handle is going to snap into place, and that will put the bolt carrier in there. You can now shut the bottom half, hit that other pin, like so. Now your rifle will be a complete. And then we can go ahead, and we're on fire, so I'm going to go ahead and pull my trigger. Boom. And then we're going to go ahead and charge it just to make sure that it's operating as it should be. Alright, excuse my lights. You're going to go ahead, pull that charging handle. Awesome. Everything feels fine. Pull the trigger. Then we're going to make sure our bolt catch works. So we're going to go ahead, pull this back, and our bolt catch is going to be on the other side right here. We're going to pull back. And that does work like it should. Let's go ahead and hit that bolt release right next to the safety and make sure that it returns to battery like it should, which it does. Alright everyone, so we got the gun back together and nice and clean. So I just kind of wanted to recap. So we went ahead and we split the rifle into two different pieces. We took apart the bolt carrier and cleaned the components within it. And then we went ahead and cleaned the hammer and a little bit of the inside of the magazine well and where the trigger group is. And then we went ahead and just scrubbed the outside, got the hand guards, got the grip, stuff like that. So that's just the basic tutorial on how to clean your AR-15. If you do want to see something more detailed, just let me know, and I'm almost certain we can get into that. I don't see why not. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to just comment below. And if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys. I'll see you on the next one.